Hi team, so welcome back to day 3 of the 12 Days of Christmas Challenge. And today's episode, myself and Ray talk around rejection and how we actually approach that, because one of the things we don't necessarily think about when challenging ourselves or we're going into a new version of being us and our higher self is the rejections that we're going to face along the way. Because when we think about it, we've got this idealistic plan. This is where I want to be, so I'm going to go do it. And then when you start to take action, the rejection comes. You might be able to get through that first one, but then the second one comes, and this time it's from someone that you respect a lot more. They're a lot closer to your heart. And those are the ones that are the hardest ones to get through. So in today's conversation, we're going to give you lots of different angles to think about and take away so that you can actually nail it going forward and actually embrace the failures, embrace the no's, and actually go for them because you realize what's on the other side. Right? Well, have a great day. Enjoy the episode.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. You are now listening to Identity Human with Don and Ray. Welcome back to our Christmas crackers. There's another one. I'm cracking them out today. So welcome back. Yes, I'm back in the room. You guys, it's great to have you listening once again. As always, we really appreciate you. And what are we going to talk about today?
Embracing rejection. It's a big one, a big learning one that I'm still going on. But
it's huge, isn't it?
Rejection and that big word N-O.
And why we think it's so bad. Because actually, I was thinking, you aren't actually bad with rejection, especially within your business.
I think do you know where I battle with rejection? Yeah. Where, like, say in this past show, Don could think of particular instances where I've got really gutted by the result. I think it's when I haven't emotionally detached myself from the outcome. It's when I put a lot behind it and there's an emotional attachment. I feel like the greater the emotional attachment, I then tend to have a big reaction. And it's because I've linked the outcome of that to so many other future things I want to achieve. Okay. Whereas when I can emotionally detach, I don't have such a big reaction. So I think that's where I start to still struggle. That's, for me, is my understanding of a work on, and we'll talk about that in this episode.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I need to work on it, because I've had some big reactions where I'm like, why am I so upset about this? Because there's other things that I've just don't get upset about.
Yeah.
In business, you become more resilient but this is exactly what we're talking about. You can become more resilient the more no's and rejections you get. And so it's leaning into that. And so there's an amazing book that you introduced me to, I think, called Go for No. What's the author's name?
Never worry about the author.
I'll feel awful that we don't know the author.
Why?
Because I want to recognize someone's work. So there's actually two authors. There's two authors.
Okay.
So we will make sure we'll pop it in the show notes.
Will you?
Well, Mario.
I'm going to put that one on you. You're going to take responsibility for
yes,
that.
I will.
Okay, so the book is basically changes your perspective on rejections. And I really liked it because it says the best salesman isn't the one that gets the most conversions. It's the one that gets the most no's.
It's not the one who gets the most yeses. It's the one that actually gets the most
Because the most no's means they're trying until they get a yes. So it just reframes your approach to a no. And that's what I really liked about it. Is like, oh yeah, that's actually true. Because we always speak about find your tribe, be confident in who you are, and know that who you are isn't going to be appreciated by everyone. Yet we then think that we must get yeses from everyone otherwise.
Yes.
And it's so, I like that. Take it away from it being a sales book and everything that it was meant to help with and put it into life. We hate no's, we hate rejection, but actually we've got to use those as a filter for people that we should hang out with, a filter for people that enjoy our jokes, a filter for a direction in life. Because if you don't get no's because you're bending over backwards to get a yes in the wrong way, you're then going to end up in a situation that you don't want to be.
And I think the big thing is that people see, and like a point that I took from the book and from this concept, is that people see no or rejection as failure, and i.e. the opposite to success, when really no is a stepping stone towards success. No is that step that you can actually identify, like you say, filter out, and actually getting closer to a yes when you get a no. So it's really leaning into that. And they give the perfect example of kids. Like, how many times a day, I think of our oldest Miles, he has to be the best negotiator. I was driving in the car today and he was going at another negotiation, and I started to get a bit grumpy with him, and I actually told myself off because I thought, I don't want him to ever lose this. So I turned to him, I said, Miles, you are amazing at negotiating, because he couldn't care less if I say no. He will just find another angle. He just keeps going until he finds the angle that works.
Made me think, do you think that because you run your own business,
yes,
and we got kids, and I run my own business, and obviously the sporting background, that actually we already have the tenacity for what it takes to go through rejections. We just are focusing on the rejections that hurt. So I was thinking, like you said just now about rejections and how they can affect us. But if I look back to my rugby, like, honestly,
you had so many.
I had so many rejections. And they sucked. But I know that after like a day of like moping, I'd come back and like be like embracing Thor and like in the gym and like being like, right, I'm gonna do what it takes. So do you think maybe this is where I would bring in a concept from the outside, like go for no isn't going to be easy, because it's still going to hurt. But what's going to keep you going for no's is that end place that you want to be. That for rugby it was, I wanted to make first team, I wanted to make the national side, I wanted to make the provincial side, and in order to do that, I knew if I got a setback it would suck, but I would, what would I do after that? Like if I didn't make the team, do I then go and sulk, or do I come in the gym?
And it's that, I think it's just reframing your mind to be like, actually, the more no's you get, the closer you're getting to a yes. If you avoid no's, you actually limit your growth.
And I think for what you were talking about earlier is when you said some things you can switch off and some things you can't.
Yes.
Are the rejections that hurt more, they only hurt more because you tie them to who you are.
Yes.
And that's what you said about removing emotion. So that's why I was just trying to think, in sport, if I don't make the team, I had to go through some huge learns to actually detach myself from who I was as a rugby player. Because if you don't make the team, it's not, I need to work on this skill, I need to work on this skill. It's like, I'm not good enough. That was a big learn, is like eventually I had to detach myself from being like, I am that team player, that guy that's in the team, to I am Don playing a game of rugby. And if I don't make the team, that's okay.
It doesn't define
because
you.
I am still Don playing the game of rugby. But that took a lot, I had to learn that a really hard way. So how do we take that same thing for life? Are the rejections that you've got hurting you because you take them personally, but you shouldn't be? And I think there's some very, very good lessons in that overall. But for today, it's how we're going to reframe. Oh, we've done a reframing.
When we reframe your relationship with fear, that's just really, like I say, really focusing on the fact.
Fear of no.
That
so let's define fear.
If you spend your life avoiding no's, you're going to get stuck. So that for me is the reframe.
So try not to have like a 100% conversion rate on yeses for 5 yeses, because that's only, you've missed out on 200 other opportunities.
And like, let's give an example. You've done rugby, and we've spoken about, you can obviously think about how this relates to a salesperson, but let's think about someone else, like a more everyday example, in business, maybe
asking for a promotion or a raise in salary, asking for a holiday,
any of those,
contract.
So let's talk about like how if you're trying to get a promotion, you may not ask it directly, or maybe you would, like if you're going to ask, what do I need to do to get the promotion? Because a no now is not a no forever. That was the other big thing from the book. Like, it's about asking.
Oh no, it's, am I in line to have a promotion? No. Well, what do I need to do?
Yes. And that's going to hurt. To ask that question is going to hurt.
Ego, yeah.
Because you're like, well, why am I not in line? But if then you're going to get some useful feedback that allows you to grow. So like a big point of this whole thing is use this principle to stretch your comfort zone. And I don't know if you wanted to touch on comfort zone.
Well, I think comfort zone is funny because you only realize that it's like, we always push ourselves and we go, I'm stretching myself out of my comfort zone. But actually, you're only stretching yourself within your comfort zone that you're comfortable stretching yourself. So the only time you can really get out of your comfort zone is by going into something that you can't predict. So that's where asking for feedback, asking for promotion, seeking out rejections is the only way that when you get rejected, it's gonna suck.
Yes.
And you're like, why did I do this? That's gonna be out your comfort zone. Whereas actually, if you go like, okay, I'm gonna go for a no, and then you go and ask your wife for a promotion, like
your wife,
as an example, like someone
Yes.
you know that's gonna say, oh, of course you're gonna have a promotion, or they're gonna give you the obvious. You already know you're gonna get a no. So it's not uncomfortable because you're like, yeah, I know it's a silly question. I just want to. So it's those ones where you can create an expectation that there's a possibility here that I can get it, and go and ask that, because when you get that rejection, that's going to take you out your comfort zone. It's going to redefine how you see yourself, which is going to make you question your ego. And then when you do that, that's when you learn.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to quickly disturb this episode just to remind you that we do have our 5-day challenge coming up on the 2nd of Jan. If you want to join that, go to www.identityhuman.com. Remember, it's free and it's made for busy people, so you don't really have an excuse. But I can guarantee you that it will change the way you see and do things for the better, and with an eye on the long term. So we're here to build long-term success within who you are and really get through the core of your potential. Especially for those of you that have kids, you own your business, you know what it's like. You've got a lot going on and you're going to put yourself last all the time. This is how we're going to help you implement the things you need to do in your day-to-day and not change much, if anything at all. And let's see what you can get out of it. All right, we'll see you on the journey.
And like an important reframe is to really, for yourself, celebrate your effort and not the outcome. Celebrate the fact that you were willing to go and face those 5 rejections, those 10, those 100 rejections. Like, go and be like, I'm making the decision to try 5 times. And even if you don't get a yes at the end of the 5, you must celebrate for yourself that you were willing to get rejected the first time and go back a second, go back a third, a fourth, and a fifth. So that's the thing to celebrate, because that is where true growth comes.
Be childlike.
Yes.
In it. Yeah.
Be childlike. Did you want to say anything else about like how it helps to adopt a growth mindset with this?
I mean,
this is
adopting
all of it,
a growth mindset is tough to define, isn't it? Because you can quickly flit in and out of fixed and growth mindset, but think that you're in a growth mindset, but actually you're just.
What is a growth mindset?
Well, exactly.
Yes.
That, I think it's a lot harder to define than current stereotypes say it is, because you could be fixed in the way you approach things, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm in a growth mindset, but you're actually not willing to go outside of your boundaries. So that's still fixed within what you're comfortable in. I think growth mindset is when you're genuinely stepping outside of the things that you know, because you go, well, that's the only way I'm going to grow. So there's a 4-quadrant thing called Johari's window.
Okay.
And so in the top left quadrant, it is the things you know about yourself that everyone else knows. The top right quadrant is the things that you know about yourself that everyone else knows about you that you don't know. You with me?
Yeah.
The bottom left quadrant is the things that you know that no one else knows. So they flip.
Yeah.
And then the bottom right one, the last one, the darkness, is the things that you don't know about yourself and no one else knows about you.
So how does go for no?
So go for no puts you in the I'm going to, and the way you spread those boxes, by the way, if you want to talk about growth, is you ask for feedback.
Yes.
And then you also talk to people about the things that they might not know. Or you get comfortable sharing your story, or be vulnerable enough to be like, yeah, I've got a messy room, or yeah, I like to drink on a weekend, or whatever it is that you would hide from someone usually that they wouldn't know. So it's about being able to sit in a conversation and tell them that kind of stuff. When you get feedback, when you ask for feedback, like I think we spoke about this in 2 episodes ago, one of the big ones, is just go and find someone that you trust and ask them for feedback. Like, how do I come across in the meeting? Is there stuff that people are saying that I could probably learn from? And that's how you get that, what everyone else knows about me that I don't know. Because that's where you're unaware of, your gifts and some of the positives and negatives that come with it. The things that we're unaware of, like, you come across as stubborn, or you actually don't listen, or, when you come in and give your ideas, you don't let other people have their own ideas so they don't feel like they're part of the team. That's what that kind of feedback can help. And then the things that you don't know about yourself that no one else knows, well, that's when you can ask a stranger for a rejection, or you can go to a different company that people that don't know you. And
I think the go for no would put you in a different circumstance or environment that you wouldn't normally have allowed yourself to go into, that's going to enlighten you on that dark space, because you're going to put yourself, by going for a no, you're going to put yourself into an experience that you haven't maybe been brave enough to push yourself into, and that's going to then give you that feedback on how you deal with the situation. Because when I think about it, a go for no could be, you know what, I've always wanted to do a 10-kilometer race, but you could be like a no internally. So I'm going to go, and you may not finish the 10-kilometer race, but you've gone for it and you're not worried. Going for no is just doing something despite the fact that there's a chance you might fail.
Despite rejection, yeah. That could be growth mindset. It could be a good way of summing up, is doing something despite you think it might not work, or being scared, or something that you wouldn't have done before.
Yes.
So, I mean, very broad terms for growth mindset. So
our challenge for you, hopefully we've inspired you with this episode, is
probably 13 minutes has gone already.
I know, it's flown by. Is to set your own go for no goal for 2025. It could be something that you want to achieve across the whole year, but actually let's get something short and snappy here. So if you're listening to this in December, you can set it for January, but basically for next month, set yourself a go for no goal. Now, our core one here is look for 100 rejections.
In
right?
whatever format that might be. If you're sales, it's the easiest one to do.
Sales is going to be easy because you're
If
going to be
you're
like,
single,
yeah.
100 rejections
If
on
it's
numbers.
sales, it'll be like go to networking events. And we're not talking about being a pushy salesman here, but it's just realizing that so much of our actions, people default to avoiding rejection, and it's actually just flipping it on its head.
Could we add in that go for no, change your perspective, everything we've spoken about, whatever was go for failure. So 100 things you can fail at this year.
Yeah.
Because obviously the go for no is one dimensional. It's like, well, that's a sales book. How does it apply to me? So people aren't necessarily going to take it away. So let's swap out the rejections for failures. What 100 things that you can try and do that you might fail at this year?
And it could be
next year.
Like, so if it's going to all be across the different things, like you just want to push yourself out the box and do 100 things that you think you might fail at. Maybe you've always wanted to make a beautifully decorated birthday cake for one of your children, but you're like, it's going to look awful. Just do it. Like, because then you're going to learn a lot about yourself. So like, what's something where you're like, I'm not going to try that. I'll probably fail at it. Just give it a go.
Dress uniquely in the way that you want to dress, and know that someone's going to
get your ear pierced.
And then watch it stay in your ear for a long time.
Because you're only meant to stay in for 2 days. This is Don's ear, not mine.
yeah, and I think I like the way we've ended that off is go for 100 rejections or 100 failures, or the things that take you out of your comfort zone.
Keep a little marker as you go through the year. Have you reached your 100?
Write them down on your weekly or your monthly life dinners too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much again for listening. We appreciate you guys. We hope that you're getting as much value from this as possible. If you are, remember, put some comments on there so we can reply to you. Like the show, share it with someone that might help, and give us a rating if you haven't rated, preferably 5 stars. It helps boost it up, obviously. But we'll always end off the same way. Remember, I'll work on me for you if you work on you for me. The better you are, the better I am, the better we are. Ubuntu, we are who we are through others. Cheers. No.
Okay.